The following is a presentation of iRacing on PTR TV. We'd like to thank all of our channel partners for their support. Please like and subscribe to the channel, and we hope you enjoy today's broadcast.
But like less than two days ago, like within the last 2 days, I remember seeing posts.
Our Season 7 started on March 6th at the Daytona International Speedway, and we've been racing for the past 6 months to get to this point to decide a championship. After last week's race at Auto Club, we now have the final four for the final race of the 2025 Area Florida Estate Builders Pro Series. Who will hoist the crown and be the champion? Well, let's find out in 130 laps here today. Welcome everybody to PTR TV. Today's coverage of the Area Pro Series, the championship finale. We'll be doing 130 laps around America's home of racing, the 1.5 mile in Concord, North Carolina. Gonna be myself, Corey Silva, in the booth and pushing the buttons. Of course, I got Hunter Sleppy to help me out with the calls. And Hunter, we have had 2 championship races here this season, and we have one more to tackle here today, and it'll be interesting to see who can get the trophy.
Yeah, Monday the favorite kind of ran away with it in Jake Nichols, but Tuesday the underdog in Garrett Conrath, after having to make it to the championship 4 by winning on fumes at Auto Club, was able to get the job done Tuesday and become the Truck Series champion. Tonight it's a little bit interesting. Sebastian Mirren obviously would be the favorite, in my opinion, heading into this one. 6 wins on the season, 13 top 5s, 13 top 10s, almost 800 laps led on the year, an average finish of 5th. A bit absurd if you ask me, but then there's Jake Nichols. Like I mentioned, he won the championship for the Cup side of things on Monday night. Got 2 wins to his name, including last week at Auto Club. 8 top 5s, 14 top 10s, the most of any driver this season. Just over 500 laps led and an average finish of 8th, but also one to keep an eye on is James Skyley. Now, he's won here twice at Charlotte, and his back was actually against the wall. And that was Monday. Sorry, I'm thinking about Monday, where he won last week at Auto Club. But nonetheless, he was able to get in on points. Scioli, 12 top 5s on the year, 13 top 10s, average finish of 8th. Even though he's only got 1 win on the year, his consistency is key to what has put him into the championship 4. And then the long shot here, it's been done before this week. It could probably be done again. It's Jeff Wright. His lone win.
Not if he does that.
His lone win on the season came at Talladega. He was already good on points by then, but the win at Talladega helped him with bonus points. And again, consistency is what matters. 6 top 10s to his name. Average finish of 14th. Obviously a long shot compared to the other drivers, but Jake Nichols and James Skyley are going to have their work cut out for them, being teammates on 609, because Sebastian Mirren, like I mentioned, he's been on the tear and he's looking to win in his rookie season for LVV Racing.
Exactly that here, and the point of underdogs. You just talked about Garrett Conrath. He was 8th place in the points heading into last week's race at Auto Club. He was involved in an early incident, which I am on record of saying I counted him out of winning that race. And what did he do? He went on an alternate strategy. And Hunter, from what I remember seeing, Monday's race ended up being a strategy race, much like how last week was at Auto Club. So very well could be a strategy race over a speed race that could benefit some of those drivers, such as Jeff Wright.
Yeah, it was an interesting race Monday. It went caution free. Guys were able to stretch and make it a one-stop race. I would assume they're going to try and do that again tonight. The championship 4 were all on the same strategy, so they all went with a one-stop. So it could be the same thing tonight, or it could be a race with cautions, because we usually get 6 yellows per Charlotte race on average, and there's never a shortage of late race yellows to throw a little monkey wrench into things. We usually average about 12 laps to go with our last caution. The past 2 seasons, it's come out with about 14 or 15 to go. We've had 2 overtime finishes in the past. And again, the only driver with success here amongst the Championship 4, James Skyley. He's won here in seasons 3 and 4. And overall, he's got pretty good stats to his name on this track. Mentioned it, 3 top 10s, 2 wins to his name. But Jake Nichols, also pretty good stats. 2 top 5s and 2 starts here. Best finish came last season in second. And then Jeff Wright with a top 10 finish in his lone start a season ago.
We'll certainly see how that comes and plays out. You know, the underdog stories are always fun to see, but, you know, as many of us know from the world of social media and what's been going on NASCAR socials this week, the championship format, sometimes you want to see the dominator win. So, you know, to pick your card there of how you want to see things play out. But qualifying certainly will be important. I know on Tuesday night, a couple drivers had to start from the back due to mistakes, not so much for EOLs. So that puts you from behind and kind of changes your strat from lap number 1. It'd be nice to get a solid lap in, and exactly 1 lap, because if you screw it up, you don't get another one. Only 1 lap for hot laps here.
Yeah, especially if you're a championship driver, you do not want to put yourself in a bad spot by starting in the back. So gonna have to be real cautious with your attempt and make sure you don't scrape the wall. Otherwise, it could be a very long day for you. As Nico Savidio looks to put a time down, Travis Beckner ripping the top, and I think that's the lane we're going to see most often during the day. The sun's out, track temp is hot. I saw it was around 120 degrees, so it's going to be hot and slick. And these guys, they like to migrate to the outside. We saw that Monday night. We wouldn't be surprised if we see it again tonight. And there's the championship favorite heading through 3 and 4 along the bottom.
This very well could be the benchmark for qualifying here. Let's see what he will muster. And a 31 flat for Mr. Sebastian Marin. Of course, that'll put him P1 on the board as things currently stand. Jeff Wright going for his outlap. Did see a few guys do the pseudo pass through the grass even. Of course, AstroTurf here on the front stretch here at I'm at the wrong track at the not at Chicago. At the Charlotte Motor Speedway. We'll get it one of these days here. But we're watching Jeff Wright still on his outlap, Jake Nichols on his outlap, James Scioli on his outlap. So 3 of the 4 of those championship drivers, guess they want to see what the benchmark's going to be.
Yeah, 31.053. It's nowhere close to the track record from seasons past. That was set back in season 1. Don't think we'll ever see a 30.2 run again. Alan Fox, 4th quickest time on the board. Servideo, I think he's coming through. Nah.
See if it counts.
Doesn't hurt to get practice laps in.
Yeah.
Let's
see who else coming next. Looks like Van Drugman. He was in the mix at Auto Club. He was somebody who really was aggressive on the early side of the stint, used the tires, kind of fell back, but definitely made his presence known. But I think now we have, let's see what he can muster very quickly, a 31.06. That is a pretty good lap. That puts him P2. But here is James Scioli. He is about to cross the stripe. Jake Nichols just went P3 with a 1-2-1, tying Venable. Scioli be a little bit further back than that.
Yeah, just behind Jeff Wright as well. So as it stands, the championship 4 all going to start inside the top 10 at some point. But everyone looking to dethrone Sebastian Marin for the pole with less than 2 minutes to go in qualifying. You mentioned a Van Drugman second quick. Liam Sheen coming through for a Pro Series start. Very loose on the exit of 4. And then not to mention Philip Groner, last season's winner at this track, P3.
Liam Sheen could be very easily. I think he will have an EOL. Just looking at the sheet, wasn't expecting him to show, but he would be one of those drivers who could easily take the win away. Remember, you don't have to win the race necessarily. You just have to be top of the board in relation to the championship drivers. I mean, I always say we're waiting for the year in the real world that it ends up being 31st through 35th if they all get into a wreck, but you don't have to win the race to win the championship. Someone can easily play spoiler and kind of take that, the battle away, not so much the war.
Opplinger getting close. Joseph Berg coming through. 15th quick on the board for the 93. Still some guys left to put a time down.
Yep, here's Justin Opplinger. He got knocked out effective the last round, if memory serves. Let's see what he can muster coming to the stripe. It will be that'll put him there in the teens, and Casey, it's the final time this season I can intentionally botch your name. Casey Lakatos. Very, very shiny Camaro here today, and a very loose Camaro as well.
Yeah, he'll have enough time to put this lap down. So I think he'll be the last one to get a time down. Maybe Greg Mitchell could have some. Mitchell's already got a time down, so he will be the final driver to put a time down as time is expiring.
See, at the buzzer, yeah, Casey will not be pleased with that lap, nor my intentional botching of his last name, but he said he wanted TV time, and if you don't win, that's how you get it, my friend. But that is the end of qualifying. So Sebastian Marin, he's going to start his championship endeavors off from the place that you want to start, which is, of course, P1. And I want to thank everyone for tuning in here today for the final area broadcast of 2025. If you're on the YouTube or Facebook side, thanks for tuning in. Make sure you like, share, comment, and subscribe. Have some fun with us in our live chat. If you're on YouTube, we're looking for 1,800 subscribers. But if you're watching on Twitch, I'm not going to say subscribe for $5 a month. I'm going to do a solid to the viewers because it is the last race of the season, and I don't want to see you spend your money for no activity. But do ensure you follow, and if next year you choose to subscribe, there's some cool emotes and other stuff you can get from that. So thank you for everyone for tuning in as we start the warm-up. Hopefully I don't get yelled at for telling them not to give the league money, but hopefully Jacob will understand that one.
Yeah, we are heading into the off season after tonight, and obviously going to be some things that we're looking through for the off season as far as season 8-wise for area, but we'll just touch up on this. So Jake Nichols won from the 5th starting spot Monday night, and then Garrett Conrath won from the 19th starting spot on Tuesday night. So it's a mixed bag for where you want to be. If you're within the first 12 positions for tonight's race, you have a good chance of winning. But as far as for the championship goes, it's got to be the same as it's been all season for the Championship 4, where you execute perfectly, minimize your mistakes on track and coming down on pit road. This is a tough pit road to go on, especially during green flag stops. 24 degrees all the way down to, I believe, 55, maybe 50 mile an hour on pit road. And then not to mention the pit attenuator that's been there since the updated modification of the Charlotte Roval. So you don't want to overcook it too much and either A, get a speeding penalty, or B, crash into the pit attenuator. And then you don't want to overslide your box, and you want to minimize speeding errors, whether that's coming in or leaving your pit box, but also stay out of harm's way. I am expecting some yellows tonight. I don't think it'll go caution-free like we did Monday.
Yeah, ironically enough, this updated version of Charlotte, which we are due for another update of Charlotte, 2025 again should be in the next build, but this version of Charlotte came out before they released the Roval, and we all thought that was a mistake about that pit wall being there, but no, it turns out to be that Charlotte left that as a permanent fixture there in the pit lane. But again, as you said, very difficult pit lane. We saw pit lane be big last week in the Truck Series. Took Timmy Pacioli out of the Truck Series by going too aggressively. And this pit road, much as you said, much more difficult than what Auto Club had to muster last week. But Sebastian Marin, at least on our warm-up chart, he is just trying to give himself confidence in every way possible. He knows he's fast, and he wants to see his name on the top of every pylon, whether it's rewarding something or not.
Yeah, and the thing that really interests me about Charlotte, because me and Jake and a few of the area guys, we got an up-close look at this track personal back in May. The amount of banking that's in the corners is absurd. I can't believe how fast these guys are going, especially through the turns. And we sat down for the real Xfinity race, and it was a blast. You could go all throughout. You could go 2 wide, 3 wide. You don't want to bobble coming out of turn 4, otherwise it's going to spell disaster, although most of the disaster happened on the backstretch in the real life race. But there's a good look at it. And I mean, there's a little bit of banking on the straights. I think it's 5 degrees of banking down both straightaways, so you could definitely feel it, especially walking on the front stretch. But yeah, the turn 2 and turn 4 exits are going to be the key points to tonight's race. I think that's where we could see the trouble happen, especially turn 4, because that quad oval, that's going to stick out, and some guys are going to get caught off guard by it.
You know, we saw turn 4 as we were just showing this camera, running the high lane, turn 4, that wall comes out. We saw it just as we saw at Auto Club. drivers just meeting in the middle on corner exit there and running out of real estate. And again, the Charlotte Motor Speedway has that AstroTurf there, and I cannot remember. I want to say it was actually Scioli, maybe Weishart, one of the two of them, did the old pass in the grass. Earnhardt did it here. Not so much an actual pass, but that's what they deem it as. But people were actually using the AstroTurf as racing real estate, so gotta watch out for that, because AstroTurf basically drives as if it is asphalt. But we are closing in here on the end of our warm-up session. We have, I believe, about 32 to 34 cars strong here signed up for the Florida Estate Builders Pro Series finale, and we'll get ready for our starting lineup, which is of course brought to you and has been all season by Central Mobile Homes. If you're looking for a small or large home, a new shed or triple crown trailer, look no further than Central Mobile Homes, proudly serving Florida customers for 29 years with a plethora of large and small home floor plans, shed designs, and triple crown trailers. Available in the Bell, Okeechobee, Clewiston, and Sebring. You can head yourself over to centralmobilehomeinc.com to get yourself your information, and we will give you the information of a starting lineup. And Hunter, let's head down and get it rolling.
Coming through on the pole, it's the championship favorite, the guy that's been dominating all season, Sebastian Marin, and alongside him, Van Drugman, best starting spot of the year for him. He'll be shotgun on the front row. And in row 2, last season's winner at this track, Philip Groner, alongside him, championship contender in Jake Nichols on fourth starting spot. The row 3, starting 5th is Michael Venable in the 77, and in 6th beside him is Matthew Bappy in the 71. Row 4, it's Travis Beckner in the 27, going to start 7th, and alongside him, another championship contender in Jeff Wright. The 48 car starts 8th. And in row 5, James Skyerly, the final championship contender, the furthest of the bunch, going to start all the way back in 9th. And alongside him, it's David Weissart in the 29, rolling off 10th.
And then we go outside the top 10. We find Jonathan Evans, who got knocked out in the round 1. Alan Fox, a solid start for him in the 12th spot. 13th finds Bryce Senesac, with Edward Robinson going to be in 14th. Joseph Berg in 15th. Brody Falliker, he will be an EOL recipient in the 16th spot. He'll head to the back. Daniel Day will start 17th out of Las Vegas, and Greg Mitchell, the Austin native, in 18th for Furnace Racing. We got Ryan Nowicki, also out of Texas, in 19th, and then Braxton DeWeese out of Miamisburg, Ohio. Powerhouse Racing going to roll off in 20th.
Back in 21st, it's Casey Lacatus in the 50, and alongside him, it's the 15 of Forrest Grant in 22nd. For Forrest Smith in 22nd. 23rd, it's Garrett Grant in the 5. 24th, it's Reese Schaefer in the 07. Liam Sheen was the last of the drivers to put down a qualifying time, even though it was 5 seconds off pace. He'll start back in 25th. John Forbes Jr., supposedly 26. I don't know if this is right. I see 34, but this one we had 33 on the starting grid.
We're missing 26, so some of the data must have got corrupted in our grid, but either way, none of these drivers did take a time. We have 33. For some reason, the 26th driver, I think Reese Schaefer, may have thrown off our data here, so blah to Mr. Schaefer. But pace car is going to roll down through pit lane. We have, I'm assuming we only had one pace lap the other day. We'll see if we get, no, we had 2 pace laps actually. What am I talking about? But
there is a car on the back of pit road. I'm not sure if that's the 26th car.
Yeah, there is.
And that's what is, I don't know what car that is that's back there.
Yeah, I'll try to see my data here. Someone is not moving at the end of pit lane. So we'll try to make out something with that. But either way, our race details here, 130 laps. We'll have 10 more laps than the Cup race the other day. We don't have backup trucks, nor do we have backup cars. And this glitched race details, no matter how many times I check it, it seems to revert back to my prior information. But 100% fuel load. We didn't get any exact privy on the fuel load. We're going to guesstimate around 60 laps, because I know you had said a one-stopper is plausible, but that would actually put you closer to 65, which may be stretching things.
Yeah, I believe the sweet spot's around 50 to 55. You can definitely stretch it to a one-stop. We saw that multiple times on Monday's race. I will say, I do expect some yellows, but if we do get some green flag runs in, there were some drivers Monday who decided to do a 2-stop strategy instead of a 1-stop. We could see some of that around the 3rd mark of the race, so like 35 to 40. would probably be when those would go. And that's if we go caution-free up until that point.
Which is a big ask, but as we tend to witness here in a lot of these races, if we can make it through, I'd say the first 10 to 15 laps, give these guys enough to sort out the pack racing and get themselves sorted. Typically at that point we get that green flag flare, unless of course there's contact to throw it off. But I think again those first 10 or so laps are going to be very vital to how this race will continue. Again, if you're just tuning in, our championship finale, these are the 4 drivers. The highest finishing of these 4 drivers will take home the Florida Estate Builders Pro Series Championship. Our weather here from Charlotte, track temp just as it was on Tuesday, 85 in the air, 122 on the track. These drivers will be lacking the grip, 3 o'clock virtual time, so there shouldn't be too much relief with that track temp going down.
Oh boy, it looks like I think everything's sorted out amongst the field. All the drivers that got EOLs are in the back. It's going to make for a fun race nonetheless, and 135 laps, we will determine the champion.
Yes, we will come and decide who will be the champion. Will it be Marin with the 6 wins? Will it be Jake Nichols trying to go 2 for 3 on the championships? Will Wright get the underdog? Scioli, will he be an underdog win? We'll have to find out in about 90 or so minutes of time. But Barney's going to get the flag wave, and the final area green flag of 2025 is underway. Let's go championship racing from Charlotte. And side by side we go into corner number 1. Will the outside persevere? It will not, but Van Drugman, someone we know who is aggressive, someone who's not afraid to throw his hat in the ring, had some speed last week, and he's trying to squeeze to the outside of Sebastian Marin, who will shut the door as they will clear for that first and second position respectively, heading through 3 and 4 and concluding lap number 1.
And he'll close the door on Jake Nichols behind him. Single file for the first 8 or 9 spots on the track. And, well, the leaderboard gets a little bit updated, so I'll reach Schaefer jump all the way throughout. So, again, still some issues there, I assume, with him. But
just exiting the pit, so he must have had some kind of severe issues to sort out.
Interesting to say the least. Still single file for the first few positions. Then back to Jeff Wright. He's door-to-door with Matthew Bappy for the 7th spot actually for 6 through 3 and 4.
Yep, he's going through 3 and 4 right now. And who's that? Bappy. 3 wide through the quad oval. That would not be a move I'd put on my bingo card. I know, because I've wrecked doing that before. Very narrow, very tight through that sector of the track. And luckily, Bappy thought better of it. That opens the door for Scioli to go in the position that matches his car number, that 7th-place spot for the 7 automobile. David Weishart side by side, a little bit further back with Ed Robinson, and now Fox to his rear. My goodness, where is my tongue here tonight? David Weishart showed speed on Tuesday night and really just wants to end the season on a positive note. He has had a really rough season, a former champion here in the area series. And some side-by-side, nearly 3 wide behind that.
Yeah, and Weishart, he ran pretty good Monday night, too. He was on the two-stop strategy, but he was inside the top 5 for a good portion of the event. The finish didn't show the outcome that the Weishart machine brought to the track, but yeah, he's pretty good at this track. Again, he did scope out this place back in May, so maybe that has something to do with it, but wants to end the season on a high note, doing a good job at doing that for the time being, close to a top 10 spot. But behind him, a lot of side-by-side action. Greg Mitchell and Bryce Senesac door-to-door for the 14th spot, with Opplinger approaching on the I-line.
Yeah, Opplinger about a lap or 2 ago was pushing a 3-wide move. He has some fans watching him today and making some good moves here in that 55, trying to get himself up. Remember, he got bumped out of the playoffs as of last week, but not a spectacular season.
In front of them, Beckner, oh my goodness, they almost wrecked.
Oh, and they're going through the turf, and Casey sideways. Who's that going AstroTurf diving? That's Garrett Grant. Somehow we stay green on a multifaceted incident here.
Yeah. A lot happened. I couldn't tell who Beckner got into, but it was a car in front of him, and a lot of checkup according on the front stretch here, and Lacoste was still trying to save it going through turn 1.
Yeah, let's quickly get a little spot here on Travis Beckner, and then we'll head back to live footage. Oh, he got a little bit of contact, a lot of bit of help, a super lot of bit of help from Ed Robertson. And again, people knowing the AstroTurf is there, weren't afraid to make some moves, and I think one of the drivers there, that may think about it in the 30 of Jeremy Miller, who's got Casey Licata super sideways. But again, all the drivers doing a fabulous job saving it. That will kind of spread out that pack. Actually, I'll take that back. They're still grouped up. This is all about 8th through 15th or so.
Script writing is pretty good because Travis Beckner is behind the 64 of Ed Robertson, who got into him there through turn 4. So the answer for retaliation, if there was to be any, is separated by about 3 car lengths there. But yeah, that spread out the pack quite a bit, about 5 to 6 car lengths separating the 7 and the 71, or right around where that happened. Up front, it's still Sebastian Marin. Jake Nichols is 3rd, Jeff Wright 5th, and James Skywley 7th. Again, settled in for the long run.
On the lap times, Drugman basically matching Marin. Marin having a 1/100th of a second edge, but look at Jake Nichols, and even look at Philip Groner, look at Jeff Wright. They were all in the 8s on the stopwatch last time by, comparative to Marin's 9. And that's interesting because he has the clean air, does the number 24, but, you know, very early in the run. Makes you wonder who has that long run pace, who may be playing for the long haul. Again, only, 4 sets of tires. So if a caution comes out, you can't necessarily just pit every time. A lot of decisions to be had. And look at the immediate fall off in one lap. Everybody in the 32s essentially lost about a 1/10 in one lap.
Yeah, and I'm looking through, Marin ran a 31.2. Same with Van Drugman as their fastest lap of the race. Meanwhile, Nichols, Groner, Wright, Venable, and Scioli, they've all run 31.4s or 31.5. That's their best lap, and they're running about the same lap times now as the 24 to 45. So probably starting off a little conservative and then trying to ease into the run as it goes on.
Interestingly enough, too, there, Hunter, and I know you had even said in qualifying, and what we saw on the Tuesday broadcast was the high line seemed to be where these drivers wanted to be, and now we're 11 laps in. The tires obviously wearing because as we're almost a second of fall off, but seems as though you want to be right on that blue line as it may be. Very few stragglers to that outside, not seeming to have that momentum, that grip, at least at this juncture in the race.
Yeah, that's going to go as the race goes on, especially with the tires, and from what we can see, they're already wearing. Again, Marin and Drugman already over a second of fall off compared to their lap times. Meanwhile, just 7 to 8 car lengths between Nichols, Groner, Wright, Venable, and Scioli.
So we'll see where that ebbs and flows, and Drugman he is staying right there in the clutches. Obviously the dirty air is not bothering that number 45 automobile too very much here. You can see right in the tire tracks and hovering right on that blue line. It looks as though Marin may be a skosh loose. I see that right rear a little bit more out there than the front of the automobile, which signals a loose car, but sometimes a loose situation is a little bit better, in my opinion, if you can handle it. But we'll go on board with our statistics here because I was already very surprised at seeing this. Look at how low our speed was going here. We're topping out at about 180 some odd miles an hour, and we're slowing down almost 40 miles an hour to make these corners. That is significant slowdown compared to other tracks.
Yeah, it's going to get worse on the longer run. We're approaching nearly 15 laps on this stint. Meanwhile, back around the podium position, it's Nichols, Groner right in the top 5. He's got Venable closing in, and Scioli holding his own in the 7th spot. Bappy's rallied through in 8th. Jonathan Evans is sitting quietly in 9th, and then Ed Robertson still in the 10th spot.
Yeah, that's a good run for Ed Robertson thus far. Obviously, he may have a target on him in the form of Travis Beckner, but Beckner dropping a little bit further back. Of course, our replays have been brought to you by Hendry County. Our flagger here for Hendry County, of course, being Travis Beckner, who is now about to be surpassed by another Hendry County-sponsored automobile in the form of David Weishart. They will be back racing at Hendry County Motorsports Park September 20th. You can get your tickets for $20 for adults. Kids age 5 and under are free, and your family pack of 4, $25. Head to the southernmost dirt track in America. That is in Clewiston off US Highway 27, HendryRacing.com, and check the calendar for a potential family fun or demo derby, figure 8 night, something of sorts to be going on at the end of August from what we were also privy to.
Yeah, HendryRacing.com for further updates on that. Meanwhile, Jeff Wright, in the meantime, is taking over fourth. He's really starting to get dialed in on his number 48 machine as we're on lap 16 of this run. Groner down to fifth after winning here back in season 6. He had a pretty good season last year. Looking through, he had 2 wins on the year, but has yet to reach victory lane this season.
Matt Groner, a name that we followed here on PTR TV in years past, someone who I expected to be a front runner just based on what I saw last season with him in an upper echelon league. But obviously here in the area, the talent that we are festering here in this league is just amazing. And someone who is upper echelon is just, having to fight and claw to get a top 10, which makes what Sebastian Marin is doing even that much more impressive. Did see Jake Nichols in 3 and 4 on the last time round. He did venture to the upper groove for 1 corner and then took it right back to the bottom. Mike Venable may have been in the fence here, and that'll move the 7 automobile into the 6th spot, taking our playoff drivers one even closer there. Venable will go and take that, and the 7 will pass the 77. Put that on your Vegas slot machine.
Yeah, marathon, not a sprint if you're the 7 Skyly. Again, you're about 1.5 seconds back from the leader. Nothing to chase for yet. I mean, it's still early in the going, still over 100 laps left in this race, but don't want to push the envelope too soon. The car will either come to you at some point, or you'll have to choose some strategy later on in the race to try and get around your competitors. Meanwhile, Garrett Grant in the 5, we saw him try to mow the AstroTurf. It's no use. By the way, very weird to feel rubber pellets in your shoe at a NASCAR track. He is on the outside of, I believe that's Alan Fox in the 90, trying to get around him.
Yeah, I never would have pieced that together, but yeah, indeed the case there. Rather than getting the dirt there, because the drivers are using that, and they will slide through it and make that stuff come up. I know there's been a push to get it at more tracks, but gotta like that good old natural turf there. But either way, some good racing going on here in the pack. Really the only side-by-side racing to be had here 20 laps into the race, where again we'll have to start seeing how these drivers want to play the race. There goes Opplinger to the outside, or trying to get to the outside, which is interesting because that would show that the outside's starting to come in. You can see, I think, Batby at the super top of the shot running that outside lane, and look at that momentum. Actually, he may have got free and lost that momentum that he was ever so building.
I've checked up a bit too, just from the 27 moving up on exit. Behind them, though, David Weishart and Daniel Day in the 61, door-to-door for the 14th position. And then Garrett Grant steered clear from Alan Fox and is now on the hunt for the 29 and or the 61.
See what happens here is there goes Opplinger ripping the fence and showing that the other lines to be had. Let's go a little bit further up the field, see if some of those top 10 are using that line. Jeff Wright, he is kind of running a middle lane here, so just maybe venturing around just a little bit as we get, halfway, 22 laps in, which could be halfway through a stint here. Because now, as we always talk about, Hunter, once we clear that point in the race where the packs have kind of disintegrated, now we're into more of a single file, a more green flag flare. This is where you convert your brain from, all right, I have my caution strategy. Now I have to convert to that green flag strategy. And whenever we have fall off tracks like this, where we're already off 2 seconds, the pit lap is vital. Do you pit early, get that undercut, get that huge advantage, and then try to suffer later? Or do you pit later and try to have the speed towards the edge of the run to be the chaser? We're getting to that point where those decisions have to be made.
So if I'm a Championship 4 driver, I'm not pitting until one of my other Championship 4 drivers pits. And then you want to pit alongside them, just so you don't go off cycle and then lose too much time from that, because that's the real battle you're going for. Again, you don't need to win the race if you are in the Championship 4, but if a driver like Sebastian Marin is leading, then you kind of do need to win the race to win the championship. So there's already a car down pit road. Not sure who that is, but that's Jake Nichols is going to have a look on the outside as
Casey Lakatos
is on pit road.
See, he has a foreign language on his car. That means we're allowed to butcher his name there. Always been a running gag with Casey to say his name wrong. All in good respect, all in good fun. He has the logo on his car. But here comes Jake Nichols again, playing the long ball card, trying to come through at the end of the run, and goes to the outside of Van Drugbin. And something I talk about at nauseum here, Hunter, you've probably already heard me talk about it. Whenever we get in these playoff races, and particularly the Final Four, you have a guy such as Van Drugbin, you had a guy such as Sebastian Marin on the Tuesday as a visitor. You want to win, you want to race, you want to have fun, you want to be competitive, but you also don't want to be that guy. And that puts Van Drugbin in the spot where maybe I should give a few more feet just to not have something happen.
I always want to race the championship 4 with respect. You don't want to wreck into them and ruin their race. We've seen it happen a few times in the Cup Series in the past, but yeah, always race with courtesy, and we've seen just that for the time being. Meanwhile, in the back, it's a little dicey. Travis Beckner home on the 15th for the moment. Brody Falker to the outside of him. Braxton Luis behind him. And looking to fill that gap behind the 1 is the 09 of Senesac with a strong run. And like you mentioned, we're starting to see that outside lane or the racing line start to migrate higher and higher on that outside lane.
And I will give some credit to Brody Falker because he was an EOL recipient, so he has driven through the field and has already gone up to 15th. Worth noting, Liam Sheen, he kind of did this last week too. Already out of the race, only ran about 3 laps. Not sure if something happened or if just decided it wasn't for him, but either way, that is one less driver in the field. That puts 33 on the track, 31 on the lead lap as Jeff Wright looking low on the 45 now. He will look high on the 45, and that may be the magic ticket, that outside lane. Let's see if he can get that run off of 4. Van Drugbin will get up the track, and both of them struggle to keep it off the wall, but 48 wasn't able to get that run off corner 4 that time.
Yeah, a little too difficult there through 3 and 4, but 1 and 2, that 45 is all the way up near the wall. We're starting to see more guys use that outside lane, and you can just see the momentum that you carry off that turn from running the outside lane, greater than that on the bottom if you're the 48 of Jeff Wright. So a little more difficult through 3 and 4 to balance out that outside, but the 24 and the 73 are doing just that. The 17 of John Forbes Jr. looking to somewhat replicate that. He's running the middle line, trying to keep the 09 of Senesac behind.
And then here comes Braxton Deweese and then number 13 using that outside lane. And again, all the racing here today has been in the mid-teens and seeing some good stuff. And Travis Beckner has fallen significantly behind Ed Robertson, who's having probably a season best run here. And that number 77, you can see the big, huge Jumbotron. At one point was the biggest outdoor Jumbo screen in North America until, of course, Texas had to outdo it here. Shouldn't be much of a surprise to anybody. I haven't seen that screen in person. My wife won't let me venture to take the trip here, but I've seen that it is pretty neat to see a humongous screen there on the back straightaway. As look at Sebastian Marin going to the top of the track here, lap number 30.
Yeah, we took a shuttle bus around the track, and one of the exits is right around that tunnel where that big screen is in turn 3. That thing is ginormous. I could not believe it until I got up close to it. So it's like to see, as is this battle for the lead, presumably, and for the title. Jake Nichols has closed the gap. He's within 2 car lengths now of Sebastian Marin, lap 32 on this run. Nichols to the bottom, Marin on the outside.
See here, try to make that blue line work here coming off the corner here. And we'll get a very good look at that big screen TV. I know in the past I actually saw them hook up a PlayStation to that in a promo shot. And imagine playing your NASCAR 25, the game, on that, as that game will be released in mid-October, of course, by iRacing themselves. But Sebastian has a battle, and it makes you wonder, has Sebastian, overused the stuff? Is he on the demise, or has he been saving, and will he now put it into a high enough gear, high enough speed, high enough effort level to maintain the spot on the 73? You never quite know with Sebastian what he has in the tank, and that's what makes him so difficult.
Yeah, that last time by, only 2 1,000ths of a second separating the lap times of Sebastian Marin and Jake Nichols. They're both 2 seconds slower than their fastest lap of the run, and they're both running similar lines all throughout the track. So really cat and mouse game here. Jeff Wright is also close, 1.2 seconds back. James Skyley is starting to slip backwards a little bit. He's down to 8th and could be falling into the clutches of Jonathan Evans in a few moments. But then again, he's still close to that being Venable, trying to get alongside the 77 down the back.
Yeah, so someone in his stature, I know you had said when you're a championship driver, you don't necessarily want to go off strat, because if caution does come out, you don't want to be on the a lap down and stuck and trapped essentially. But at some point, you kind of know that, all right, I don't have the speed. I'm not going to outrun these guys. I'm going to have to do something different. And it seems as though Scioli might not have that outright pace to be someone to go for the title on pure pace. So maybe he's the person that might have to get creative and maybe start the cycle off.
Yeah, very well could be. We're approaching up on that window for guys. If they want to do a two-stop strategy, they can pit now and get within that window as the 71 looked loose there through 3 and 4. But in the back, Greg Mitchell holding on the 12th for the moment. He's loose coming on exit. Here comes the 55 of Opplinger with a strong run to the inside.
Going up to the front of the pack, first time all day. That number 23 has been challenged. Will the 73 get the run off the bottom? Into the fence. Into the safer barrier was the 24. Didn't seem to lose much time from it, but that kept the 73 side by side. 24 runs a tighter line. Try to pinch that 73 down. He will do so successfully. I don't think Nichols will be able to maintain side by side. He will not. Falls back in. First challenge held on to by the 24.
Seemed like the 73 checked up a bit too much, thinking that the 24 was going to steer down into him, trying to get off the wall. But that's what happens when you run close to the wall. Obviously cautious there on the corner exit, but I think Charlotte's one of those tracks, and we haven't seen it too much this weekend, where if you get stuck in the wall, you have to veer.
He's saving. Watch those RPMs there. Sorry to cut you off, Hunter. He was blipped down to 2,000 RPMs. That meant that 24 is in fuel save mode. Let's see if he does it in 1 and 2. Yep. That means he's clutching it. He's not shutting the car off 100%, but he's in full clutch mode and has that thing saving fuel. So it makes you wonder, is he trying to do that one stop that you spoke of in the pre-race?
Well, let's go with the guy behind him, see if the 73 of Nichols is trying to follow suit.
Well, we have the technology. Let's see, we're capping out about 8,000 RPMs. 83. He's actually going harder, I would think. I think the RPMs went harder, and now he's going full bananas right now. So that is potentially why he is closed in on Marin. It's because Marin is in fuel save mode. We don't know how long Marin's been in fuel save mode, but we also, it's kind of scary to think that he could be in fuel save mode and still maintain the lead versus second place going full out.
Yeah, Nichols right on the bumper of the 24. He knows that he's ready to pounce, and I think he's going to try and take it to the low line, although he chooses not to. He's just run the tire tracks of the 24, try to get him to slip up into the outside wall like he did just a few laps ago.
I don't even think that was intentional. You know how racing has become these days. It is a game of mirror blocking. These cars don't have the digital rear view camera that the next gens do, but they do, in many cases, have a humongous virtual mirror that iRacing will provide you here in the virtual world, and that gives you the ability to kind of predict or guess or just take that lane away. And I think if Nichols can get to the outside and Marin runs the bottom, that may be what he needs to do. But Marin going to gravitate towards the top on the older tires, and 73 is going to use whatever tire he has left to try to bite on that line, and you can see him get a little slideways, and that is just enough to force him to pull back in line.
Yeah, it seems like a large portion of the field, they are on this one-stop strategy. There's only a few guys that have come down pit road as the 73 is loose on corner exit. Chastain and Sogak pitted about 7 laps ago, so trying something different within the 609 camp. So going to give some feedback to Nichols and Scioli if two-stopping is the way to go. But yeah, I guess it's just a matter of time until one of these guys come down pit road to make their pit stop.
And this has to be, Hunter, some of the biggest fall off I think we have seen. I'm going to go as far to say on the oval iRacing service. We're down 2.2 seconds. And, you know, just imagine every time that a guy goes by on fresh tires, he's gaining 2 seconds. In 4 laps, he's essentially gained 10 seconds. In 6 laps, he's half a lap ahead of you. It's a drastic amount of time. So if somebody even as far back to say, I'd go back to Garrett Grant. If Garrett Grant pits in 3 laps, he's going to be the leader once everything cycles back out. You really have to be super observant of what everyone's doing, especially if you're in that top 4. Here comes Venable.
Here's
Venable,
the first one.
He was P5, so this is clutch. Oh, that's
Jake
Nichols.
Nichols.
Sebastian Marin has absolutely no choice. He needs uppercase to pit this lap and not to butcher it. We talked about how difficult the pit entry is here. We know how aggressive Marin is. You got to do it, and you got to do it well. Represent Queensville race out in Brooklyn.
Well, he's not going to pit. He's not going to go all the way from top to bottom and pit here. So he seems committed to, especially since he was saving fuel earlier, seems committed to that one-stop strategy. So we'll see if that's the case for the 24, if he'll be able to do just that. And again, this is all pending if the race goes caution-free like it did Monday night. 73 comes back out on track.
This is a metric that we always tend to follow here on PTR TV, and that pit lane time. That's from cone to cone, pit entry cone to pit exit cone, including your pit stop, 37 seconds. You do have to run that out lane, which probably takes it, I'd say, to 42 to 43 seconds of pit time to complete your full cycle. That's just over 1 lap. Jake Nichols now 1 lap down. He's not the first car a lap down, so that's important. If a caution was to come out, he'd have to take a wave around, which is very not advantageous. Garrett Grant in the pits right now. But let's see, he isn't, let's just say, effectively coming off turn 2. You could see him right in the shot there. The length of the back straightaway is what separates the 73 from the lead lap. And is Marin coming this time? No, he's just running slow on the bottom.
Nah, I mean, if you're Marin, you're already this committed to making it a one-stop. You already know you're going to lose time if you come in now. Might as well just stay committed and hope that yellow comes out and it fits your motive for the rest of the race. As Robertson's down, DeWeese is down, Senesac is in as well. Garrett Grant's coming out of pit road. Again, shocking that not the 7 of Skyly has come down pit road. Again, teammates with Jake Nichols, but I guess all bets are off if you're chasing a title, so everyone's got their own best interests. As Van Drugman has come down the pit road.
Yes, indeed the case here. So that's the majority of what was our top 5, and this is a very important position to gain right here. Just watch this is 50 lap old tires effectively versus about 6 lap old tires. So that puts Jake Nichols back on the lead lap, and you have to think of how much time Sebastian Marin has given up in the, let's see, what is the actual length of time that the 73 has been on the track on these tires? It's been 3 laps, so now 7.5 seconds effectively. He is going to be up on Sebastian Marin. Now let's make it 10 seconds because another lap has gone by. That's all time Marin is going to have to give up, going to have to gain back on his strategy. These are very difficult to follow, but fun to watch. And another championship 4. Here comes Jeff Wright. I'd say at an awkward time for him, right around that lap 50 mark.
Actually don't mind that. Pit around lap 50, stretch it to lap 100, depending on if it goes green. Still have 30 laps with new tires to maximize your efforts and getting your job done on the best position you can get, not only for the race but for the championship itself. Looking through at the last lap times that came through, a 33.7 from Sebastian Marin compared to a 31.4 from Jake Nichols. So he is over 2 seconds a lap quicker than the 24, and Marin has yet to make a pit stop, as is the 7 of Scioli, and they are close to their window to be able to do that. I think they're both on the one-stop strategy. The 24 is going to continue. The 7 is going to continue as well.
And I just want to point out, and we'll show you on our onboard graphic, we were pointing out the corner speeds a little bit ago, and we're down about a mid-140s. We are down low mid-130s for corner speed at a 1.5 mile intermediate. That is just... That's mid-1990s speeds there that we're seeing here with how slick and slow this surface has become. But to a point we made earlier in the broadcast, Hunter, about, you know, if you're a championship 4, you're racing your final 4, you're not necessarily racing for the win. Do you consider this to be a little bit high risk for Marin to go against the strategy when you know I'm right on pace, if not faster than the 73? He's my competition. Should, as you said, just do what he's doing and try to battle him out, on the same level.
I would say it's a risk, but then again, I'm not the one driving the car. I'm not Sebastian Marin. I don't know a lick about iRacing, so he knows something that I don't, and it's clear as day. That's why he's been as fast as he's been all season long, not just in the area, but on the sim as a whole. So we'll see in the end if it works out for him. He knows a thing or two, so I'm not going to go against his judgment. I'm just putting my 2 cents into the wind.
He's got a 9,000 iRating, and I'll just put myself in the mix as well. I've been on iRacing since 2008. Back in the day, I could hold my own. I relate my driving experience to kind of how DW was at the end of his commentary stint, where he knew what it was like to drive a car back then, but not so much like now. That's why Jeff Gordon and him didn't get along in the booth for so long, because of his new versus old data. So I know what I'm talking about. I race every now and then, but I'm not as up to date on the elite strategies that these guys have to do in 2025. So again, Marin, 9,000 iRating. He's battling guys. He's on the verge of being in the Coca-Cola iRacing series, I have to imagine. So he knows something. I know there's money on the line. So he's doing something, but it's making an interesting broadcast. But it has put second place to James Scioli here. We'll switch our ticker over, and this will show you where we stand on pit laps right now. 54 laps for the top 11. Forgot Logan Clampett was racing here today, speaking of Coca-Cola iRacing Series drivers. But Jake Nichols up to 12th, and he's 17 seconds behind. That is half a lap behind. He's on the verge of probably driving up to the top 10 within 10 seconds of the leader before the pit stops are going to happen.
I think that was Logan Clampett. He just passed on the track.
Indeed. Clampett is, again, he's on that strategy of staying out. But that's where the strategy is going to be very difficult, is if you can't stay ahead of those guys who've pitted, you're in a very difficult spot because you've lost any advantage you've gained. You have to stay a plausible amount ahead of those drivers if you're going to do that late pit strategy. And just look at what Marin has given up here. He just seems like he's stuck in third gear in relation to everybody else.
He is hoping that a yellow comes out, because then that would shift the focus to pitting for everyone compared to where the 73 is. Nichols would have no choice but to come in and pit, despite him being on 12-lap old tires, because new tires are better than any sort of tire regardless at this juncture. So that's what the 24 and the 7 are hoping for, is that they don't lose too much time to the 73, and that can only happen with the yellow.
Yeah, down to 1.6 seconds as Nichols' tires do start to decay as this race is getting spicy. And if you're looking for things to get spicy, head over to rickshotsauce.com for some of the best hot sauces made in South Florida. Lokahatchee Classic, Golden Garlic, Palm Beach Pineapple, South Beach Heat. Congratulations to, was it John Wall, for winning the $100 Rick's Hot Sauce Rookie of the Year award for the Cup Series on Mondays. And again, you can check them out at rickshotsauce.com. John Forbes
John
enters
Hall.
the pits. Is that what I said?
John Hall, the Rookie of the Year. And you said John Wall, the basketball player.
All right, I was close. NBA's right around the corner. I watched an NBA documentary today, so it's stuck in my head here. But John Hall, not a Washington Wizards question mark? I don't know. Someone will correct me, if not you. But closing in on...
I think he's out of the league now.
Yeah, hasn't had the best of stint. But that's a podcast topic, of which this is not, which segues me into a podcast. Gotta love how that works. Two blue-collar guys, Nick and Alex. They talk about NASCAR and more. Episode 228 has Jacob Bell. That is the High Banks podcast. If you're looking for something to listen to, perhaps there'll be another episode that asks Jacob Bell about the future of the area iRacing series, which is still we're still waiting on information. Jab, jab, hint, hint. But yes, check out the High Banks podcast on Spotify.
You can see the lap times. Even Sebastian Marin's into the 34-second bracket. Well, just under that now, but still, Nichols is a second and a half quicker than the 24. And there's a good look at
start finish to. Oh, sorry. But I just wanted to focus on the fact very quickly that down to 10 seconds. So enter in the middle of 3 and 4, just off of 2, so just under 10 seconds between those two. And Casey Lakatos running the chicane there on the road course, evidently.
Not sure what's happened to the 50, but very close to comfort there. Oh, hello.
Yeah, that's no bueno here. And then a little bit further, stuff goes astray here into turn 3.
He's on pit road as we speak.
Yeah, he was on the struggle bus there, Casey Lakatis, but unfortunate for him, his season not going the way he would have liked. Did have a solid run at Dover, if memory is not mistaken, but either way. We are now at that point. Again, 65 is the magic lap. We are at 61. Jake Nichols, sub 10 seconds, 8.5. There is a chance he's probably going to be within 2 seconds of Marin by lap 65. And here comes Brody Falliker into the pits. James Scioli is within 1.5 seconds of Sebastian Marin, so he is doing a good job of maintaining pace. Now, does that mean he's not saving as well? We don't quite know. But he is maintaining steady pace to Sebastian Marin as Beckner losing a spot, I believe, to Weishart, who is on that strategy. And Jake Nichols up to P4 now. The next driver on the strategy is Jeff Wright, and he is back in 9th. So that just shows how much better that 73 is executing right now.
Oh boy, indeed, we're quickly approaching halfway. I'm shocked that we haven't had a yellow up to this point because we've never gone caution-free for a race here from Charlotte. We usually average 6 yellows a race, but we do get a late race yellow. Oh boy, that's interesting. I want to bank on this going caution-free to the end, though. Like I said, we usually get a yellow with about 12 to go, so still a little too early for that. Again, coming through the halfway point. Still waiting on Marin to come down pit road, too.
Yeah, so Scioli pit with what'll be 67 to go. So if he can't make it to halfway, he's going to need a help from caution flag. And here comes Marin just a lap before halfway. He will come to the attention of his crew. So that means if this goes green, he's going to have to run 66 to the end. He's going to have to save even that much harder to make it to the end of this if it goes green, which is a major if. But that is paramount. We have Jonathan Evans, who... he is stretching it past the halfway point, as well as David Weishart stretching it past the halfway point. But this is the battle for the lead right here. So Evans will have lost the time to Jake Nichols before even his pit stop. That's pretty huge on the strategy. But Evans will pit, and again, he made it past halfway, which is rather important.
Yeah, Evans coming down pit road as well. He has yet to make a stop until now. I think Travis Beckner is on pit road too, if I'm not mistaken. Nope, he has yet to make it stop as well.
67. Yes, that's even bigger.
Yeah, so he can definitely make it all the way now that we know he can go 65, 66 laps. Alan Fox coming in hot. David Weishart stopping in the box as well. Now will be the fun part of the race where we get to watch Sebastian Marin chase down the 73 and the 48 now that he's got fresher tires than them.
Yes, indeed the case here, as we will temporarily focus on David Weishart for a little bit longer than expected here, just as some things refresh here in the background. But one thing we will be watching out for is how quickly Sebastian Marin can get back onto the lead lap here. Things will refresh shortly, and we will focus our attention off of that number 29 car. So as nice as that number 29 car is, we'll focus on getting Sebastian Marin back onto the lead lap. Remember what Jake Nichols had to do. He lost a lap through the shuffle and then had to get it back. Because if a caution does come out, as we all know, you don't necessarily want to be the lucky dog. You'd rather be on the lead lap naturally. Otherwise, you're back of the line and back of all the lap cars, and you can't pit at the same time, and it ends up just being rather non-advantageous. Yeah,
less than ideal. So we will see if
he's back on the lead
the
lap
strategy
already.
Works out. Yeah, we'll see if it works out for him in the end. I do believe if this goes caution-free to the very end, he will be in a tough spot because we can already deduce that older tires are much worse than newer tires, and especially with the fuel-saving mode that he was in the first half, it's going to make it real difficult in the second half.
Yeah, absolutely the case here. So we will see how that does work out. But Jake Nichols back to the lead here. Well, I don't want to say back to the lead because he never actually had the lead prior to this. The only laps he's led is what he has gained through the shuffle. And Jeff Wright second, he is 4 seconds back, and they are on the same strategy. And we'll pull up the stint ticker again just so you can kind of get a relation as to what's going on. Most of these drivers pitted about 20 laps ago, which meant they pitted around lap 40 to 50. And then I guess we have to now paint a picture as to when does Nichols want to make the next stop. Because I imagine probably around 85 to 90 gives him enough time to make that stop. And again, he's going to have to lose time and then gain it all back and try to catch Marin, who's going to presumably stretch it from here.
Yeah, I think this point you can go a little bit closer to lap 100. Still have at least 30 laps to give yourself some time to rally the troops and make up some ground with newer tires. But you'll see Sebastian Marin a 31.2 that last time by. Jake Nichols, he's coming across the stripe now, a 31.404. So
that's his best lap, so 33.2. So it was at 8 tenths, I believe.
Actually, that was a little more than a second. 1.4?
31.6 to a... Oh, yeah, 31.6 to a 33.2. So, yeah, but 1.6 seconds. All that time that Nichols was gaining per lap, now the shoe is on the other foot.
Oh, yeah, Nichols was gaining over 2 seconds a lap when Marin was still on track, so I think that's going to go up between the 24 and the 73. Greg Mitchell in the 2, Bryson in the second, the 09, duking it out for 13th. Seen them battle a handful of times today, still keeping it clean for the time being.
Yeah, exactly the case here. As again, this race going through our Championship 4 race for the Florida State Builders Pro Series. Jake Nichols and Jeff Wright, the top 2, but let's not count out the rest of the battle here. James Scioli in 17th. He is holding off Sebastian Marin in 18th. He has 1 lap for older tires, does Scioli, and that 1 lap older tires was enough. Remember, just before that pit stop for Sebastian Marin, Scioli was only a 1.5 seconds behind Marin. So he pitted a lap earlier. He got that 2-second buffer on those fresher tires for that 1 lap. And that was enough to surpass Marin. And he tangibly has the speed he could probably maintain for quite a while.
Yeah, this is very crucial too because both these guys, they're on the same strategy. They stretched it out field-wise. So I don't know if the 7's going to be able to stay in front of the 24 for long, but again, they're both on the same strategy of trying to stretch it, presumably to the end of the race, as Bappy has passed Phil Groner for the 4th spot on the track.
Need the case here, and they're still side by side. And here's David Weishart coming through. Who David Weishart on fresher tires thought he may do the old AstroTurf pass and throw some fans some rubber pellets there, as Hunter ever so elusively had happened to him prior. Venable, he is trying to figure out something, but big slide from Groner on corner exit. That opens the door for David Weishart. And something of note, Bappy in the wall. That's of note here. Then down the back straightaway. Kept it straight, kept it going. Used the wall kind of as a bumper. But he stays green.
Yeah, we will need to look at that because I was not paying attention. I was trying to find where Weishart was on the leaderboard when that occurred. So,
contact from Venable. The backstretch here at Charlotte, very much like the backstretch at Auto Club, very bumpy. So the slightest bump, as harmless as it may be, could be enough to throw you into that wall, as it just happened. Another good racing through the field here, and just trying to find some battles, find some excitement. We got Ben Pierce. Ben Pierce, he made a charge at Auto Club in the Truck Series last week, tried to win himself the race or come in the top 5 there, but just didn't have the fuel to go the additional lap, gave up a 2nd place. Fortunately, Garrett Conrath was able to make it, but either way, Ben Pierce, that 14th spot. Greg Mitchell, they're side by side. We got Scioli, who has now been passed by Sebastian Marin. We wondered how long that was going to last. Lasted all of about maybe 8 or 9 laps. But another point of note, Jeff Wright slowly eating into the lead that Nichols has amounted. It was closer to 4 seconds. Now it's down to 2.5. And a point worth noting, Jeff Wright does have 5 lap fresher tires than Jake Nichols, which is objectively about 0.2 a lap.
Yeah, he has been running about a tenth or two quicker a lap the last handful of laps from what I've seen. Also noticing that Marin is only 0.9 quicker than Nichols per lap, so I thought the gap would go down in a hurry between the 24 and the 73. It's not gone down as quick as the 73 when he was on newer tires, chasing down the 24 by over 2 seconds a lap.
And that's, this is where the crew chief hat comes in. I know we had one of these races at Auto Club. I know you had joined the truck race thinking it was going to be crazy racing, and it was, but crazy racing more from the strategy side. And that's what we're seeing here at Charlotte here in our championship finale. I'm going to put my semi-out-of-date opinion hat on here, as we do have a battle of Venable and Groner. I think if I'm Jake Nichols right now, I want to pit as soon as possible. And the reason is I want to give myself the most amount of time to gain that, to preserve the lead I have, use those fresh tires, and I don't know, I have an inkling that says if you pit early, you're going to be in a better spot than if you pit later. But again, these drivers are way better than us. They might actually have tangible crew chiefs. A lot of these teams have spotters. They actually have sit-out teammates and friends and helping them make these calls rather than us here from the booth.
Yeah, I mentioned it earlier. One of the first guys to make pit stops, Shosana Sogag, is an affiliate for Jake Nichols. So he pitted early, kind of giving him a read on. I wouldn't be surprised if we gave him a read on what the car was doing and how it was handling, and if it would be better to pit now or just stay out and save fuel and make it a one-stop race. But we've already seen that the longer you stay out, the more and more your tires wear. Over 2 seconds of fall off, 2 to 2.5 seconds. So seems like for the moment the 73 is on the right side of things for pit strategy. The 45 of Van Drugman, he is sitting pretty good. He's on the same strategy as Nichols and Jeff Wright, holding his own in third.
And he's been doing fabulous. It'd be interesting to see what would happen with him if you had him over the course of a whole season, because he's certainly showed pace and been up there with these guys and having some good runs and good competitive top 5 pace at many racetracks. And just mentioned Dana Sogak, he will let those 2 championship fellows go by in the form of Marin and Scioli respectively. See at the back of the shot there, Reese Schaefer. Remember, he started a lap down for some reason, of presuming to be some kind of technical reason, or maybe just joined the grid late, what have you. And it's always the worst case scenario. Maybe you get an EOL that parks you a lap down, maybe you have a technical issue, and then that's the race that goes caution free, where you don't have any opportunity to get a reprieve to get yourself back in the thick of it.
That seems to be the case for a good portion of the guys. It's just the glass slipper doesn't fit on the day that ends in wide for you. So there's DeWeese going around the 5 of Garrett Grant. That is for position inside the top 10. 8th for DeWeese, 9th for Garrett Grant. And behind them, Ed Robertson still holding his own in 10th. But behind them, you see the 2 of Marin and Scioli. They're actually close nose and tail with each other, 11th and 12th.
Yep, Marin not pulling away. Scioli is running an interesting pace, and it just makes you wonder. I mean, we wondered if Marin was running full out, whether he was trying to, just kind of run the speed that he has to run to hold the lead rather than running all out. We knew he was saving before, and this would be a good time to see if he is. Actually, let's see if Scioli is. I don't think we checked his onboard telemetry, because if they were saving before, they're going to have to save now. It's the same distance, if not more, and indeed the case. Those RPMs going right down. That implies and shows that they are in max fuel save mode, and I'll just check with Marin. Actually, I think the tack should be an actual indication here. We get to see that on the left side of our display. Yep, there goes that tack all the way down. Trying to save that fuel. Probably doesn't go on till about maybe 40% into the corner.
Meanwhile, a number of guys have come down pit road. Garrett Grant, Justin Opplinger, Daniel Day, Justin Sogak's back down pit road. Greg Mitchell coming out of pit road. So guys presumably making their final stops of the race with around 40 laps to go. And I was looking through at the time, and it's starting to even out. A 33.5 last time from Jake Nichols compared to a 33.0, or actually a 33.2 from Sebastian Marin. So only a few tenths of a second quicker Marin is than the leader.
Now we got to put our other hat back on. I think I had calculated out that it's about 38 seconds for our pit lane time from cone to cone. If you account for the pit in and the pit out, I would estimate, using the access roads, slowing down and so on and so forth, you probably need about 42, 43 seconds to fully make a pit stop. So that being said, I think right now, if Nichols is to pit, he would be about, 25, 28 seconds behind Marin. That's about a whole lap. So how much time would it take for him on fresh tires to gain a lap on Sebastian Marin, who's out there saving? That's why I think he needs to pit on the sooner end. I think with every lap that goes by, it eats into that insurmountable gap. But remember another point, Marin's going to have to stretch one more lap than he did on the first run, because he did pit before halfway.
Yeah, he's 25 laps into his run, and the lap time's already starting to even themselves out a good bit. Only 13.3 seconds back from Jake Nichols, as, again, a number of guys coming down pit road. You saw Venable, Ed Robertson as well. They were inside the top 10. 33.4 last time from Nichols compared to a 33.1. It's going to update this time. 33.5 for Nichols, and we'll see what Marin runs, as Philip Groner's actually made a pit stop.
Indeed he is. Wouldn't be surprised if even some of those drivers on the one stop, maybe some of them even choose to abort. Here comes Braxton DeWeese, as we said, Philip Groner coming in, Francis Hamilton, and the number 23. Nice, a little walk up there, but nothing that should be of any eminent concern here. But Jake Nichols, here he comes. He's squirming. He's getting it slowed down. Don't screw it up. This is the money stop for the season. A little squirrely in, but hopefully within limits.
Jeff Wright's staying out, as is Van Drugman. So 48, he's going to probably do the same thing they did on the first stop, pit a few laps later than the 73, trying to maximize the advantage on the tires, as Francis Hamilton's coming in too. But 73, he was 37.5 in his total pit lane time last time through. We'll see what this time is.
And a slower stop, 14.6. That'll throw that pit lane time. Actually, I guess it ended up being the same, but now he has to charge as fast as possible out of the pits. He's exiting the pits, as Marin is now, we'll have to wait for timing to live update here, because it is a significant amount of time, but he's actually a lap down. And what is the actual gap going to be? I guess we'll relate him at start-finish line. This will be the easiest way to dictate things, because remember, we do have to wait for Jeff Wright as well, so that the cycle fully completes. But coming off turn 4, Jake Nichols at the stripe now. Marin is off turn 4, so he is just under a lap behind Sebastian Marin, but he is a lap down in relation to the leader, although he is the lucky dog recipient as of now. A lot of numbers, a lot of math, folks. I know it's confusing. It's confusing for you at home. It's confusing for us trying to figure it out here from up top. We're enjoying this.
He's holding his own in the lead. Marin still 10 seconds back, and Skyley again right on his bumper. Well,
Scioli here is coming right through, and these guys are much more competitively paced than we would have thought, because I would have thought that once Scioli got past, he would have drove off, but remember, he has a slight bit more fuel. It's not much, but he knows he just has to straight duplicate what he did the first time around. We don't know how much fuel Marin left in the tank, because he did pit at 64 coming to 65. We don't know how much he left in the cell. So he may have had another lap in, but I feel like if he had an extra lap in, he probably would have used it. So here comes Jeff Wright. Here's Van Drugman as the lone driver on this strategy to come in. Actually, Matthew Batt beat it. He is 52 laps in, so he will be the only other person on this 2-stop strategy to come down. And then we will cycle through, and we will have to just watch the intervals and watch who's going to win this race, and more importantly, which one of those yellow stripe drivers is going to win our 2025 Area Florida State Builders Pro Series Championship. Just about to get to the 1 century mark here in laps. Push about a 100 laps completed. 97 coming to 98. As Van Drugman is into the pits right now. So that gives Sebastian Marin the race lead once more and puts things back to where we are. We'll watch the timing and we'll just watch the end of this race come through. 30 laps to go or so in the championship. If you're looking to get your final chance to get 2025 Area iRacing swag, you can head to shop.areairacing.com for high quality merch at low prices. Over 100 selection of t-shirts, hats, champion brand clothing, and other accessories. Easy to shop, quicker to ship, better to wear. Shop.areairacing.com. Get yourself some cool merch. I think the only other partner we haven't talked about is Elite Entertainment from Boiling Spring, South Carolina. High quality band production, Singo and karaoke and more. You can check them out at the link tree in the description. All the partners who have helped this 2025 season along, and Sebastian Marin kissing the safer barrier there off turn number 2.
Yeah, he's in a real tough spot because not only is he leading the race, he's leading the championship standings as well. That card to his inside, Scioli, second in the race and second in the championship standings, and they're both on the same strategy. They're going to have to maneuver their way through the faster cars, or should I say the faster cars on fresher tires. They're going to have to maneuver their way through these two. Not to mention, Jake Nichols is closing in a hurry, waiting for the lap time to update from the 73, but a 33.3 for both Marin and Scioli that last time through, compared to a 31.6 from Jake Nichols.
He's got it. I'm calling it. I'm calling it now. I mean, my calls haven't always been accurate. Hashtag Garrett Conrath here, but to be almost 2 seconds a lap faster, about 1.7, 1.8. Yes, that will change over time, and it will even out, but it won't even out fully until probably about lap 125. But you have the fuel element, which is the more important part. Marin, again, he has to stretch it even further than he did the first time, which was already a massive stretch. And Nichols can just go full bore. Now he's sub 9 seconds. He does have competition in front of him, but to my logic we've already used this race, most of these drivers are just going to let him go because they don't want to be influences in the final result, even though they indirectly will. But if you're a 73 fan and that's where you put your DraftKings money here today, you're looking good, but it only takes one mistake, one yellow flag to throw this race on its head.
Yeah, that's the one thing that Jake does not need to happen, because then he'll be forced to pit, as well as the 24 and the 7, and then they'll get bailed out with that yellow. They won't have to worry about fuel saving anymore. They can just go flat out with new tires. And that put guys like Evans, Falker, Joseph Berg, they would cycle up inside the top 5 and have good position on the restart to possibly end their season on a high note. So a little further back, Logan Clampett and Garrett Grant duking it out, with Garrett Grant getting the better of Logan Clampett. And just a little further, actually, right in front of them, the 27 of Beckner closing in for the 14th spot.
Beckner has been rather quiet today here in today's race, as Nichols, with no effort whatsoever, drives by Bappy. That's for the 6th spot here. And I keep looking at my timer here, because my timer, every time they get to within about a 1/10 of a second or so, it lets me know, look at this, in the old words of Jeff Gordon here, lets me know that something's about to happen. And Scioli running the bottom of the track, and this is just very, very basic geometry, Hunter. If you run the bottom of the track, you run a smaller distance. If you run a smaller distance, you use less fuel. So every time Marin goes up the track, it may be very minuscule, it might be 0.01, but when you're already at a deficit, 0.01 doesn't make anything any better.
Yeah. Only 5 seconds now separating the 24 and the 7 from 71, as Yeah, Nichols goes around the 1 for fourth. The 73 now eating in even more to the gap between himself and Marin and Scioli, and won't be long until he finds himself around the 26 of Jonathan Evans again. I feel like I've seen this pass happen a handful of times today, but once more through 3 and 4, Evans on the outside, Nichols on the inside, and no contest whatsoever.
Just watch that battle, that graphic there. Of course, it'll update 4.5 seconds to the next position. Any wonder what the next position is? It's the race lead. So just watch here now in the corner. This is where the time is. It started at 4.4 seconds entering the corner, and it'll kind of ebb and flow, but he gains 0.2 in that corner. Let's see what he does through 3 and 4 here. Now he's getting the speed. Now it's going down 3.8, 3.7, 3.6. It'll ebb and flow here a little bit on corner exit because the leaders are on the straightaway, but there is another about 6-7 tenths just that one lap.
Doing a masterful job. It's the 73, 3.5 seconds now in closing between himself and the championship, with Marin and Scioli holding foot in first and second. And then the other championship contender, Jeff Wright, going to hold his own in 10th for the time being. And it will be interesting to see who gets second amongst the championship 4, because it seems like Nichols, pending a yellow, has this locked up. But Marin and Scioli preserving fuel. They're not going to pit for the rest of the way. It's all if Jeff Wright can close the gap and get to those 2.
Now, he does have 4-lap fresher tires. Now, the caveat for him is he has 4 seconds or so separating him from Nichols to himself amongst some drivers who shouldn't give him too much of a hassle here, but he is running that top with glory here, and he is going to be one of the ones who wants that caution, because I think he does have the pace. He started, where did he start? 8th. But he's been running top 5 on pace since the opening stint. He certainly can do it. But then you have Nichols up front. You have Nichols now 2 seconds. I mean, he's going to be there in 2 laps, 3 laps. He's going to probably be in the lead. We'll see how much of a fight these guys can put on. But this is going to go back 15 years. Put in chat if you know what race I'm talking about. It was 2009 at Michigan Speedway, COT. Jimmy Johnson and Greg Biffle, they're running just like this, 1-2. They ran each other out of fuel. 3rd place wins the race. That's what Scioli is doing to Marin here. He's probably running Marin out of fuel here, making him run harder than he wants to, but it's ultimately not going to matter because, look who's joined the battle.
Also, Nichols not as old as Mark Martin when that took place, so...
Not 52 years old,
yes. No, as far as racecraft, though, it's pretty on par. He won last season's title, looking to go back-to-back, and it's right there, just 1 second away from possibly going back-to-back.
No, I don't want to get too far into my dramatic championship call here, because it will have a Madden curse effect here, as Brody Falliker, he is going to come to the pits, obviously knowing that he can't make it to the end. Actually, worth noting that is the battle for the lead is going to spice up here. The old Madden curse, if you're on the curse of the Madden football game, you lose the championship. My old pal Brad, he does the thumbnails. He put Jake Nichols as the thumbnail driver for today's broadcast. Is that a positive or a negative? It's looking like a positive as of now. 20 laps to go. 3-car battle for our championship. 2 are on old tires and limited fuel. 1 has the best of both worlds. But those drivers are going to make this track as wide as possible. Maybe even work as pseudo teammates here to try to preserve it as long as possible.
Yeah, as Nichols on the outside of his teammate Scioli for second. He'll jump to the inside, passing the 24 of Marin. At least not yet. He got a little too close to that apron, but he'll have a good run down the front stretch, and he'll be door-to-door at the line, coming to 18 to go. That time it's Marin. Next time it'll be Nichols, because into 1, Jake Nichols is the new race leader.
And this is your battle for the lead. This is your battle for the championship, and the hardest part of this for Sebastian Marin, there's literally nothing you can do. All the wins, all the skill, all the aggressive driving, everything he has worked for, no amount of talent could overcome 20 some odd laps of tires. And now if a caution comes out, sure, Jake Nichols doesn't want to see it. Emulate Bubba Wallace here in the most recent Cup Series race. Has the race basically under wraps if it finishes green. If a caution comes out, you can still win it. but you don't want to have that restart. You don't want to have Sebastian Marin, on an even playing field. Even though you can do it, you'd rather this just play out. But at least at this point, if you're a Jake Nichols fan, if a caution comes out, it's not a bad thing.
No, because what's the 24 and the 7 going to do? They're going to stay out again? No, they're going to come in and pit and be on even level playing field.
Yeah, it'll just be a battle of hanging on versus, that goes to another point of contention that some drivers will have with this championship format. And again, Area's only doing it because it's what the real world emulates. Do you want the season championship dictated on a green-white checker? Probably not, but tell that to the high-ups in the world of auto racing. But that also makes the point that a lot of these drivers, even the guys going side by side, a Weissard, who is a former Cup Series champion season 1, if I'm not mistaken, Braxton DeWeese, everybody else around them, they're feeling that pressure now. I talked about you don't want to be that guy. You don't want to cause a petty self-spin. You don't want to have a petty incident happen that causes a caution, because you know what's on the line, and I feel like everyone's even more on their good behavior card now to make sure that if a caution comes out, it's not due to something that they've done.
Austin Hill.
Somehow he always comes into conversation.
Yeah, what a bonehead move that was.
Yeah, absolutely. And perhaps the High Bags podcast has given 2 plugs in 1 race. Maybe they have a statement for that. But if a caution comes out, maybe it would be here on the racetrack. Travis Beckner, Ed Robertson, who was a top 10 driver for a vast majority of this race, but maybe the strategy, he is on the mid-level strategy here, so he should be able to work through these guys. He's stuck because they're running side by side in front of him. And this is all for the 15th spot, but Scioli still in the clutches, or rather trying to get into the clutches of Sebastian Marin to try to get that spot. Jeff Wright has driven up to 5th, and it looks as though we're going to have a championship 1 through 4, and it looks as though Jeff Wright should maybe be able to get himself up to P2 here. Only has about 1.1 seconds to get there.
Yeah, don't want to harp on things too soon, but the latest we've had a yellow in the Charlotte race in seasons past was back in season 4. It came out with 5 to go.
No.
Well,
or yes, I guess it depends which side of the spectrum you're on, but our first caution of the day, Beckner and Robertson. I'll have to get another angle of that because it looked a little...
Well, it doesn't help that these two have had history within the first few laps of the race today.
Saw that one.
And I don't think the beef settled down between the two, and I don't think Robertson took too kind of what Travis was doing.
I don't want to get myself in trouble on air. I really don't. But given the implications, that probably is the last time Ed Robertson's going to be in area. If championship race to intentional wreck with 10 laps to go, that's not going to go over well.
Yeah. +3 for the 64. Now, very rarely do we see a +3 for incident points to a driver. And you mentioned it, boneheaded move. That's the Weenie Hut general moment of the race, unofficially. It does provide life for the 24 and the 7. They're going to have track position. They're going to be on even level playing field as is the 73 and the 48. As pit road is open, everyone should be coming down, as is the 48 of Jeff Wright. I think that screws him the most, because had this gone green,
he was
Jeff
second.
Wright probably would have gone second in the race, second in the championship. And oh, by the way, the average of last caution, I think I mentioned this earlier, 12 to go, and that yellow came out with 12 to go.
There you go.
The numbers don't lie.
Bill Weber, rest in peace, but Hunter did the math, so you didn't have to. But everybody's going to come into the pits here it's crunch time. You're hoping that the old RNG simulator here gives you the best spit out number possible for your pit stop. You hope that you don't speed. 2 tires is not a plausible strategy, and Jake Nichols will get out. You saw Scioli gun it there and then stop.
Wow. Sebastian Marin lost so much time. He's going to restart, I believe,
fifth.
There are some guys that pulled off, but
4th, so 14-4.
I thought he came out of pit road 6th, but What great script writing we have in area where the championship 4 are the first 4 to come out of pit road, just like we drew it up.
Oh.
Good job, guys.
Now, it puts you down a rabbit hole of thoughts here. Again, for people who hate this format, we bring up the term a Mickey Mouse Championship, and you can't say Mickey Mouse Championship at all because Nichols deserves it, Marin deserves it, Scully deserves it. Wright would be an underdog, absolutely, but you knew how the race was going, and you saw what changed the course of the race, and ultimately may or may not change the end result of the race. Does the championship feel the same if you are Sebastian Marin, if you are Scioli, if you win this race, knowing you probably weren't going to win it? Does it feel the same? Do you get the same gratitude? You did win. Every number says you won. You get the trophy, you get the prize, you get the money, but do you feel the same? I guess that's an in-depth question that maybe Dr. Phil has the answer to.
So I think for the 7, I don't think it would feel the same because he's won championships in the past. The 24 of Marin, he was bound for the truck title, but couldn't run the postseason, so forego that opportunity. So he hasn't won an area championship, whereas the 7 has. So if you're Marin, you just want to take it as you can. I don't think in the moment you'll feel like it's right, but in the end, everything works out. So we'll see how this goes.
Yeah, opposite of Lincoln Park there. In the end, it actually mattered. Womp womp. I don't have a drum roll on my soundboard here, but you're all thinking it in your head, and I do appreciate that. But we're 8 laps potentially, barring green-white checkers, which now we have a pack race. Now we have a championship right in the single shot in our screen now. There's a chance that cautions breed cautions, but right now Jake Nichols, he had the race wrapped up. Now he's going to have to go fight for it. Fresh tires, even playing field, teammate to his outside, season dominator behind, and Jeff Wright, who had the pace, was closing in just behind. 8 laps to go. Let's go settle a championship. And no contact from Marin puts the 7 in the wall.
Oh, Scioli did not go at all. Something to miss on the 7. Jeff Wright's going to be second for the time being, but that screws Sebastian Marin tremendously with only 8 laps remaining in the season.
And then now we're wrecking down the back. Oh, that's Joseph Berg. He's wrecking. He's trying to hold it up against the wall. He's trying. He held it against the wall. He evaded contact. Now David Weishart. What is there oil on the track? I don't want to cut to replays here. There's not enough time left, but all the follies aside, Jeff Wright just talked about an underdog championship. Marin's going to have to fight through 2 drivers, Groner and Evans. Jeff Wright, I mean, it's all on the table for him right now. 6 laps to go. Well, 7.
There is no letting up if you're the 48. Marin looking to the inside, going to be 3 wide going into turn 3 for third.
Jeepers.
Evans and Groner are going to be close to contact. Evans going to shoot through the middle. Marin going to clear the 11 on exit, but off turn 4, it's still the 73, but not for long as Jeff Wright close to the bumper with 6 to go.
Jeff Wright closer than the bumper. He's down to the inside. Are we going to see a Charlotte haymaker, a Charlotte dive bomb? I don't even know if it's physically possible, but we may see it indeed here coming down the back straightaway. He is door to door. The 73, you're going to have to pinch him. You can't run up the track because the 48 can dive it on in. He could dive it on in deep. He could dive it in super clear. Is he going to clear? No, he has to leave a lane for Nichols side by side. 5 laps to go.
Wright leads at the line. Nichols close nose and tail on the outside in second. Dead even going into 1, and Marin's trying to run the top, trying to make up any ground he can whatsoever.
Yeah, he is still fighting with Groner. He is still fighting with Evans. Is there any affiliations that are making them fight harder for these top 2? We don't know, but that side by side, this is hurting the 48. He's going to be tighter. He needs to clear. He needs all that real estate, and he may get it. This is super close. I think he's got it. It's within inches. It's within literal inches. No. 73 hanging on by a whisker.
Oh, the 73 wiggled up in turn 4. Thought he
there
would
he is. Jeff Wright.
There. Yep. Holy cow! He's gonna have to run down the back.
Down the
wall.
Opplinger.
They're still going straight.
Opplinger.
Here comes Nichols to the inside.
Crossover move, but each lap goes by, that inside lane becomes harder and harder to run. Nichols seeing red. The race was his. I had it. Everything was in my grasp. So an intentional wreck.
Spin it off of 4.
Alan Fox. Yep, there we go.
Oh, wow.
Did I not say,
we're gonna have a
Hunter?
green-white checker.
Did I not say we don't want a championship decided by a green-white checker? What do we got?
Oh, boy.
What do we got? Green-white checker.
That's the only way we're going to settle it.
The nice
Light
thing
contact.
to say is that they both met one spot there.
Holy cow.
Now,
That
do you
would've
pit?
been-
Do you pit? I mean,
No,
we
no.
know how bad tire wear
Absolutely
is.
not.
It's 8 laps. There is gonna be a hard line of, which used to be a channel, a league I covered here on that a lot of these drivers raced in. There's gonna be a hard line of when everybody pits. It's not gonna be P1. It's not gonna be P2. It's not gonna be P3. But it might be 5th on back. But actually, let's take it back. At this point, Scioli, we saw him get in the wall there on the restart. He's 6 laps down. He is completely out of it. So we only have 3 championship drivers right now. They're all too high up the track. 7 laps is a tangible amount on tires, but it's going to take a lot of drivers to pit to make it even plausible.
Yeah, this is boy, this is crazy. If you are the 48 of Jeff Wright, holy cow, he has finished no worse than 17th since Darlington, and that was back at race 8 of the season. So we won at Talladega to advance to the playoffs. 17th at Bristol, 16th at Nashville, good enough to make it to the round of 8, and then 11th at Las Vegas, 14th at Auto Club, good enough to point his way into the championship 4, and now he sits just 2 laps away from possibly clinching the Pro Series title. But then again, Jake Nichols, he's going to be tough competition no matter where he restarts, whether it's on the inside or on the outside. That 73 is going to be alongside, and he's going to have to get through A-OK. And the 24 of Marin can just hope and pray for a mistake, and at least for the restart to not go like it did that last time for him.
Yeah, 'cause we saw the push not work well. The outside, traditionally, harder to get a good jump on. Less grip out there for some reason. And there is, we go back to basic geometry, Hunter. It's better to be in 1 and 2 on the restart on the first lap on the bottom. You're not up to speed yet, so you can run the bottom full bore. You want to be there. But when you get to 3 and 4, you want to be on the outside. I don't know if I'm Jeff Wright, if I want to take the outside. I think that's too much of a risk. If Nichols can time it and hold them door to door through 1 and 2, I think it's a good chance through 3 and 4. But from what we've seen, we've just not seen guys get that outside jump, which puts Jonathan Evans in a good position. And then you just have to wonder what's Marin going to do in reaction.
Oh boy, I think we should get to choose this time through. 3 attempts at a green-white checker, though, so if you're Jeff Wright, just hold on to the lead and hope that they continue to wreck behind you for
Inside.
whatever reason.
So he'll go inside, and is Sebastian Marin going to want to push the 73? Absolutely not. Jonathan Evans, remember, he had the 0 for 3 vehicles because he got mounts out of all 3 rounds of the playoffs in the first round, which is a surprise given that how fast that 26 is. We thought he'd be someone that potentially could be going for this title, but Sebastian Marin, he's going to try to go 3 wide as soon as it becomes available, but Jeff Wright, remember, he had 2nd place wrapped up. This race was green for about 119 laps or so. We had a just flat-out ridiculous intentional wreck take the race, take the championship, throw it on its head. Jake Nichols was driving off into the sunset, but now our 2nd caution, Jeff Wright, has done everything right since that moment, and let's see if he can finish it off.
And all matters how he goes on this restart. Just try to avoid the tire spin. He is the control car. The ball is in his court. The 73 has to wait for him to go. Boy, this is going to be real close.
It's going to be real close indeed. What kind of jump do we get off this opening restart here for the green-white checker? Will this be the only green-white checker? Goes early in the box, gets the advantage. Nichols does not get going. Marin's going to look high. Evans is going to try to keep the door closed. Marin has to stay 3 wide. I thought Evans were back. Nope, we're 3 wide, and we're wrecking again. It's Francis Hamilton. So this race has, we didn't even get to the restart box with this one. 45, just, there was not space. And Senesac, Beckner. And there we go.
that was an odd one. Van Drugman, Bryce Senesac, Travis Beckner, all caught up in that. But man, that couldn't have gone any perfect for the 48 on that restart. Went in the box. 73 didn't get the jump. Marin was to his outside. He was in a 3 wide pickle there, so that worked out for Nichols. He gets to keep the second spot, but Marin moves up to third now.
Yeah, I was quite surprised there because I had expected, and I guess, there's nothing tells you that you have to give a break, but the 26, there was an inch. If he backed off 0.01% on the throttle, Nichols could have cleared to the bottom there and probably had a chance to, get right to the back bumper of the 48, but Evans held his line there. He forced Nichols to run the middle. That forced Marin to the top. But as you said, now Marin is going to start in third. He's going to be right behind Jeff Wright. Nichols has shown to struggle on these restarts. And if you think of it that way, that gives Marin probably the best shot to get right to the back bumper of the 48. Maybe clear the 73 off the jump if things go the way he likes.
Another chance to regroup and refocus if you're the 73 or the 24. And boy, this is
something. Just want to point out as another talking point. Have I said not all the past 7-8 races? David Weishart just wants something to go right, and he's 10 laps down. He was involved in one of those incidents. Guy just cannot get a break.
Yeah, just things not going his way, especially towards the end of the season. Unfortunate, but hey, Logan's up to 5th. Oh, we have not talked about Logan Clampett all night long. We didn't even know he was in the race until about, halfway through? All of a sudden, he's in a good spot for not only a top 5, but if things go his way, he could possibly snag a win here late in the going.
Yep, and getting everybody on the same tire strat because of the caution cycle, so really nothing to be had. There were a couple drivers who pitted. That's Van Drugman back 14th. He is going to be the first on fresh tires, but it's going to take a ridiculous amount of hoopla, and I think, what do we have, 3 attempts, is it, Hunter, for these green-white checkers?
3 attempts, yeah, so this would be attempt number 2.
So, in the words of Chris Daughtry, it might not be over. But if you're Jeff Wright, you kind of want it to be. Remember, if we get to the white, it does not matter who's upside down on their lid on fire or screaming in the infield. If we get to the white, we will finish this thing under green flag in some capacity. We will race back to the checkers, even if we are on our lid. It has happened before, and it will happen again. But we are 1 to green. Wright taking the inside. Evans to the outside behind Nichols. And again, first to the inside, Sebastian Marin. If he can time the restart, you damn well know he's probably going to take it 3 wide through the quad oval. So if you are the 48, watch that mirror.
Yeah, because Marin's going to try. He's a pro at this. I mean, there's no reason why he's as good as he is. Like you mentioned, over 9,000 iRating, close to being in the Coke Series. He's a master at the situations like these. So we'll see what happens on this restart, but boy, oh boy, if we get another yellow, really buckle in. If you aren't already buckled in, you got to double strap in.
Who is seeing red right now? Not like a Taylor Swift album, but who is seeing red right now? I'd say that 73 is. I'd say that 24 is. And we'll see what happens here. 3 championship drivers, all on the same tire strategy, all with the same advantage right now, all with the same chance. to win a Florida State Builders Area Pro Series championship. We'll head into the restart zone. We'll come down to 2 laps to go. Will this be the final restart? We'll find out together. Huge jump from right will clear, and I'll say it looks as though the 73 did a pretty decent job, but not enough to clear. That puts Marin sole possession of second.
Evans right on the bumper of Jake Nichols, very close on corner exit. And we're door banging 3 wide coming down the backstretch. Jeff Wright leading into turn 3 with Marin hot on his tail.
The 6-time winner this season here in the area Florida State Pro Series. He is 1 spot away, 1 car length away, but the white flag is in the air from the Charlotte Motor Speedway. 1 more lap to finish the Area 2025 campaign. He's going to go to the top. He's going to give him the bottom voluntarily. Jeff Wright's going to rock the top of the track. Marin has the track position to the bottom. He has the real estate, but Wright hits the wall. We're wrecking down the back. It is of minimal significance. We're side by side for the Florida State Builders Championship Series. Coming through 3 and 4, we're side by side. Will it be a championship photo finish? Into the wall is Jeff Wright. Sebastian Marin, can he do it? He will. He'll get it on the restart, and he'll win the championship by 1/2 of a car length.
Unreal finish there. The 24 gets the job done. Oh, so close for the 48 of Jeff Wright. Unreal.
I mean, you have to feel for Jake Nichols. He settles for 3rd. Jeff Wright, I mean, he'll be wondering all race long, should I have given him the top? I mean, you'll have to wonder. That was the margin of victory here at Charlotte Motor Speedway here today. Just about a full car length it ended up being. Should he have given him the top? I mean, that'll be the decision he's going to be asking himself probably for the next 8 to 10 months until this thing starts to back off. But there goes Sebastian Marin. It'll be the 7th win of the season. He led a total of 80 laps, but it did not come as easily as that number dictates it may have.
Unreal. Deserving of the champion indeed, the dominant car all season long, but boy oh boy, barely did he get it over Jeff Wright. What a drive from the 48. And again, cautions is kind of what brought Jeff Wright into possibly becoming the champion, and cautions are what take away the opportunity of being the champion if you're the 48 of Jeff Wright.
And just imagine what those pit crew guys are talking about right now. Like, come on, man, it was ours. It was ours until it wasn't. But Sebastian Marin will park it there on the front straightaway at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. And let's go ahead and give you the final rundown of results here today from the Charlotte Motor Speedway. To round out our 2025 area iRacing season is Sebastian Marin getting that Pro Series Championship final margin of just under 5/100ths of a second. Jake Nichols will have to settle for 3rd. It was his until 10 laps to go, and that will be going down in area history, I am sure. Jonathan Evans with a 4th. Logan Clampett drives up to 5th. Philip Groner 6th. John Forbes a quiet 7th. DeWeese a solid run in 8th. Garrett Grant solid in 9th. And then Mike Venable, he solidified in 10th.
Then rolling through, Justin Opplinger gets home in 11th. Van Drugman 12th. Forrest Smith solid 13th. Ben Pierce and the Sogak the top 15. With Berg, Schaefer, Savidio, Hamilton, and Nowicki rounding out the top 20.
That is our top 20, and we'll round out our rest of our results here. We have Bryce Senesac, Travis Beckner, Alan Fox, Brody Falliker, 24th, Greg Mitchell, 25th, David Weisbart, you got to feel for him. James Scioli, that restart did not go the way he needed, back to 27th. And Ed Robertson, Batby, and Day rounding out the top 30. And then the final page of results. Not sure if most of these guys took a lap here today, but either way, that is the final page of results. So we'll head down to Victory Lane. Victory Lane for the final time this season, brought to you by Victory Fuel. Choose your flavors from Throttle Punch, Purple Potion, Lucky Lemon, all caffeine free, packed with electrolytes and charged with vitamins, also kid friendly. Get 10% off your order with code AREA iRacing at checkout. But we'll head to Victory Lane where we find Mr. Sebastian Marin here today. Our champion, Sebastian Marin, the 7th win of the season. It wasn't looking favorable to you. It came to be via the cautions, but then you had to drive, go get it, and you go and got it by about half a car length, man. Just talk about the emotions and how that race progressed for you.
Oh, man. Before anything, just want to give a shout out to Jake Nichols. Obviously, he kind of had that, locked up if it went green to the end, if that unfortunate yellow doesn't come out. So shout out to him. I know he probably deserved that one, but yeah, the race just panned out my way there at the end. Obviously chose the wrong strategy. He was going to be the clear winner. I thought, I wasn't going to have to save as much as I did to make it to the end, but that proved to be a way harder task to make it to the end. And then that yellow kind of brought us back into play, and then I screwed up in the pits. I mean, I overshot my box by like a pixel. Like I put it in reverse, and as soon as I put it in reverse, it registered that I was in my pit box. So just very fortunate with those yellows at the end, which gave me another shot at it. And then the second to last restart was huge when Nichols spun the tires a little bit and I got to his outside. And then that yellow was super fortunate because it came out just when I was in front of Evans, which then put me bottom on the inside third. And from then on, I knew I had a good shot as long as I didn't spin the tires on the restart, which I didn't. And then just had to focus on Jeff. Had a good 3 and 4 coming to the white. And then when he ran the top, the restart prior, I tried it and I saw that it wasn't very, very good, to be honest. The fresh tires, the bottom was just king. So when he went up top, I knew I was going to be side by side with him. I just didn't know if he was going to be mostly clear or if I was going to clear him if he messed up. So once we were side by side entering 3, I was just praying, whoever had the better corner was going to win the race. And I think he got tight running the second groove. The second groove was just not it on the short run. And we edged him out to the finish line. So yeah, very, very sloppy race, but overall, obviously coming here and winning the championship, very, very, very happy. But I still feel for Jake. He really deserved that one.
Yeah, I know it's a tough part of this format, man, where you had the best car all season. This is your 7th win, so if you didn't walk into a championship, you did, I guess, in the race, but you didn't walk into it. Your season just absolutely speaks for itself. And sometimes, as they always say, sometimes it's good to be good, but sometimes you just have to be lucky, and a little bit of skill sprinkled on that got you where you are. I know you have a huge laundry list of people you want to thank for your championship here today, and just have the floor, man.
Yeah, I want to give a shout out to all my LVB teammates and owners, Timothy, all my teammates from over there, Michael, for just let me be part of this team. It's been an honor, very fun. Thank you for them letting me run part-time on the truck series. Man, I'm lost for words. Thank for you guys for putting on this broadcast for the whole season. It's been a blast. It's been a lot of fun. And yeah, shout out to Area for putting on this league. I kind of joined in last minute just to run because I had some buddies that were running it, and I really, really enjoyed myself this season. So shout out to them for putting on a great, fun league. I know they have their ups and downs like every league, but I truly, truly appreciate this league, and it's very, very fun. And shout out to the other Final Four participants. It was a great race, great fun battling all of them. I apologize to Scioli. I know he spun the tires there, and I don't know if he missed a gear or he spun more tires, and I ended up hitting him and kind of killed his chances. But I mean, at that point, I couldn't really lift. If I lift, I get run over from behind or kill my chances of winning. So apologize to him. And yeah, overall, a great night. Very happy with this championship. I'm looking forward to next season and whichever 3 series I run. Maybe I run all 3. Maybe I run a few part-time or full-time, but definitely looking forward for the future.
All right, absolutely, man. And we hope to be watching you do that whenever that next season may come around. Congrats on the well-deserved championship. Go celebrate it, my friend.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Have a good night, guys.
Now, traditionally there, Hunter, you would go to second place, but I'm going to give you the choice. Do you want to talk to a disappointed Jeff Wright who gave it away on the last lap, or do you want to talk to a super heartbroken Jake Nichols the way it went out? I'll give you the choice here, man.
I will. I'll go in order. We'll go with second place if Jeff Wright is here. I'm not sure if he's...
He is here. I know. We'll go and talk to Mr. Jeff Wright, second place. We'll cue him up for you. There he is.
Alrighty, here with Jeff Wright, and oh my goodness, you were about half a lap away from turning the area world upside down. Late cautions in the going. It seemed like it was going to work out for you, and then just that last lap and the last restart, Sebastian Mayer was just too tough to overcome. Take us through your thoughts on the final restart.
Yeah, I mean, just the way that race unfolded, just absolutely insane. Feel really bad for Jake Nichols. He obviously had that thing wrapped up, and then, whatever happened there with the cautions, unfortunate for him, but, it gave us an opportunity that we otherwise wouldn't have had. So, we were able to get around Jake there on one of those restarts, which I didn't think we were going to be able to do. Reggie, my spotter and crew, he really dialed that car in well with the fuel load, so our balance was just great. But I think just needed one less restart probably, and I needed one of the best guys in iRacing not to be starting right behind me. That probably would have helped. But yeah, looking back, maybe would have done something different. I just thought, my best opportunity was going to be to try and protect that top lane. And so that's what we did going into turns 1 and 2 there. And yeah, Sebastian was just really, really good. So he was just able to get through that corner better than me, got alongside us. And then in turns 3 and 4 there, at that point, I just was a little bit too snug, I think, with the car, and Sebastian just hit his marks perfectly, and he's been dominating all season. So to get second to a guy like Sebastian, it still hurts because we had a real opportunity that was presented there for us. But congrats to Sebastian for the championship, and we'll hopefully be back next season, and we'll try to get ourselves one of these.
I was going to say, how do you look back on the season as a whole? Only one win that came at Talladega, managed to point your way into the championship 4. Just take us quickly through your thoughts on your season.
Yeah, season was interesting for sure. I think a lot of people would argue that we probably shouldn't have been in this situation to begin with, and things just kind of happened and fell the right way for us. I mean, especially the last round, we did not have very good runs. We ran in the teens, and typically that's not going to get you into the championship 4. So we had to rely on a little bit of bad fortune, I think, from some other drivers, I will say, that we even got here. But man, I was just super excited to have a chance at this. And, I wanted this so bad for Central United, the guys like Kyle and Noah that brought me over here to race this series and race area. I got to thank Jacob Bell for the awesome league. This is such a competitive, great league that really pushes you. And, one spot short, but overall, I guess, that puts us second on the season. So despite all that, I think we finished well above where we ran most of the season. So I'll take it, but I know this one's going to hurt for a while.
Yeah, runner-up on the season, but nonetheless put up a fight to the very end. It's Jeff Ryan, the 48. Congrats on a great season.
All right, thanks, guys.
All right, and now we'll talk to the third place finisher here, where everyone is their first line out of our top 2 interviews, man, is we're sorry for Jake. You had the strategy, you played the cards perfectly, the race was coming into your lap, and due to events that will haunt area for at least the off season to come, you got put into a situation where restarts and strategy went out the window. And how are you compartmentalizing how this race went, man?
Well, it's interesting. I don't know. I'm annoyed. I'm annoyed because it's not even the first time this week that just something out of our hands just ends our hopes, really, or at least hurts them big time. But tonight it's just completely different. It's just the same old conversation every week. We knew an intent wreck was going to happen, and the fact that the said driver claims it's not an intent wreck after what he said in the game after the wreck is just embarrassing, in my opinion. It's embarrassing that he even waited till 15 laps to go in the championship race with no dog in the fight, just literally just no business in it, and wrecks. It's just dumb. It's just not good. It's just lack of respect that we've claimed was on the racetrack, just racing each other. It's just that is for the whole league. Like, that's just, I would not want that situation for anybody, whether I was in the race or not. It's dumb. I'm not going to complain about, like, Sebastian earned it the whole season. Even Jeff he drove his butt off tonight and was right there. I was watching him the whole run, really. Like, he was gaining and gaining and gaining. So it's like, either way, if any of us 4-1 tonight, I'm not going to complain about that. I have enough respect for everybody and the time we all put in and the effort we all put in, and trying to be the best. It's just a shame that it gets ruined. I felt like that was one of my better races in terms of pace, especially at Charlotte in the Xfinity car long run. Even if we were on the same strat, I think I had it pace wise in the long run. But either way, I'll thank everybody at 609. I'm glad we got another team title, and Matt Livery's Simrat Market. It's a little annoying with those shark cars too. Getting dive bombed for no reason coming on the last lap into turn 1 and getting doored is just not. It's just ridiculous. But I mean, what are you gonna do? We'll take what we got, and at least we were there, you know.
Well,
and thank you guys, by the way.
Well, I do have I have
here.
one out for you there, Jake, and I would talk to Hunter about it too. You were given the Madden curse by my co-partner Brad Dalton. You were the thumbnail.
I guess so. Yeah.
It happened. It absolutely happened, man. But
I thought we were going to talk about how I was manifesting how we usually get a yellow with. No joke, Jake. The stats don't lie. We average a yellow at Charlotte with about 12 to go, and that's when the yellow came out. And numbers don't lie, but that couldn't have happened at a worse time for you.
It's not even about when it's how it happened for me. It's just the fact that it's an intent wreck for no reason. Like, that just should not be happening in a championship race, and it's sad for everybody else, because I don't want anyone to feel bad. I don't want, especially, you know, Sebastian or Jeff or anybody in this race. Like, it's not their fault, you know. It's not the league's fault. It just happens. It's nothing we can do. But, you know, I'll keep my head up. I had a great car tonight. I think my pace was really good. So, you know, if we just keep it green, we win the championship. But either way, we'll take another team championship. That's like 10 for 11 in terms of area seasons for me being a team champion. So yeah, we'll take it, and hopefully not have that kind of stuff next time around.
Absolutely, man. Well, either way, I mean, congrats on a solid season. I mean, woulda, coulda, shoulda. We can talk to her blue in the face, but it won't change the end result. But you can still be proud of what you accomplished this season. Any final words before we let you go?
Well, just thanks to everyone watching, and thanks for you guys being here. I enjoy watching these shows on Tuesday and Thursdays. You guys do a great job, so thank you. It's been a fun season overall. I mean, we've had ups and downs and whatnot, but overall, it was pretty good. I'm glad we got to see a good battle for the championship there, at least. You know, you got to make something good out of it. And I was honestly trying to let Sebastian have a shot at him for a second, because I was going to just barely be there, and I kind of got loose still. But they kept it clean, and hats off to them for keeping it clean, battling that hard door to door for the championship. But overall, interesting way to end the season. Interesting.
That is the best way to say it. An interesting way to finish the season. But hang your head high, man, and hopefully we'll catch you around next season.
Sir. Thank you.
Well, that'll wrap up our post-race show, and as said, an interesting way to finish things out. Of course, the final area broadcast 2025, all 3 championships have concluded, and Jake Nichols got Monday. We had Garrett Conrath on Tuesday, and Sebastian Marin here on Thursday. I want to thank you, Hunter, for being in the booth with me for the majority of these Thursdays. Good to meet you as a commentator and a friend. I want to thank Brad for helping out on Tuesdays. I want to thank Jacob Bell for giving us the chance here on PTR TV and having a ball this season. Sad to see this league end for the season, and hopefully VMAC 2026 will await any updates on that. And I want to thank everyone in the fans, all big chat here. I want to thank Lucky Dog, not just for the super chats, those are highly appreciated, but everyone who's given kind words and enjoyed these broadcasts, make them fun to produce. So gonna be a fun 2025 off season, and we'll look forward to the future. Any final words before we wrap up the area season, Hunter?
That was just oh man, I honestly don't have any words, but just glad to be a part of a PTR TV team overall. And again, looking forward to when season 8 happens. Probably going to be a longer off season than usual, but we still have a lot to talk about going into the off season.
Yeah, and there might be, from what we've been told, there could be some special off shows and whatnot, so we'll see what happens. But either way, like, share, comment, subscribe, and help us get to 1,800 subscribers. If you have enjoyed this, just consider going back. You can watch all the playlists of all the old content. But that is going to be Corey and Hunter signing out of the booth for the championship finale. Congrats to Sebastian Mayer, and have a great night, and we will catch you next time.